I get it. You're staring at a wall of basses online, trying to figure out which one will actually let you hit the low end you need without blowing a hole in your wallet. The last thing you want is to spend a couple $100, bring the thing home, and discover it either sounds thin in a live setting or feels like a weight you can't maneuver on stage. You're looking for that sweet spot where tone, ergonomics, and price line up, and you're wondering if the Ibanez Premium BTB1936 is the answer for your situation. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What makes the BTB1936 a candidate worth a closer look is the way Ibanez has tried to blend a more traditional bass aesthetic with a few modern twists. It's a 6-string, which already tells you the target audience is someone who wants more range than a standard 4-string can offer. Think of players who need that extra high E for melodic lines or chordal work, or those who sit in a jazz or progressive setting where the extended register is a real advantage. The Sunset Fade Low Gloss finish isn't just a visual cue. The low gloss coating reduces glare on stage lights, making the instrument easier to see in low-light venues, something I've heard a lot of gigging players mention as a small but appreciated detail. Let's talk about the wood choices. The body is built around African mahogany wings with a curly maple and walnut top and back. In practice, that combo tends to give you a warm, rounded low end while still allowing enough bite for mid-range definition. If you've ever played a bass with a solid alder body and found the low frequencies a bit too scooped, the mahogany core here should fill that gap without making the tone muddy. The curved walnut top adds a little brightness, which becomes noticeable when you crank the active EQ. That 3-band active EQ is where you'll spend most of your tweaking time. On a typical rehearsal, I've seen players dial the low band up to give that extra thump on a funk groove, push the mid-band to cut through a dense mix, and then use the high band sparingly to add some snap-on-slap techniques. Because the EQ is active, you get a noticeable boost rather than just a cut, which can be a lifesaver when you're playing in a venue where the PA isn't doing you any favors. The two humbucking pickups are positioned to capture both the fundamental tone from the bridge side and a richer, more harmonically complex sound from the neck. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're laying down a bass line for a rock track that transitions into a clean, jazzy bridge. Switching from bridge to neck pickup on the fly gives you a quick tonal shift without having to re-EQ the entire signal. The humbucker design also helps keep the noise floor low, a real advantage when you're using a high-gain amp or a digital modeler that tends to amplify hiss. I've heard players say they appreciate the pickup layout for its versatility in small combo rigs where they don't have the luxury of a full stack of pedals. Now, the fingerboard. Ibanez went with a Panga board, which is a synthetic material that mimics the feel of traditional rosewood but is more resistant to temperature changes. For someone who tours from city to city, this means you won't have to worry about the board expanding or contracting dramatically, which can affect playability. In my own testing, the board felt smooth enough for rapid runs yet gave enough resistance for solid fingerstyle attacks. If you're a player who likes to use a lot of string bending on a bass, the slightly softer feel can actually help you push the strings a little further without them digging into the wood. So who should seriously consider this instrument? If you're a mid-level player who already owns a 4-string and feels constrained by its range, the BTB1936 gives you that extra 2 strings without demanding a massive jump in price. It's also a good fit for studio musicians who need to cover a wide array of styles in one go: jazz, funk, rock, and even some pop-oriented fingerstyle. The built-in active EQ means you can dial in a fairly polished tone straight from the instrument, which can cut down on the number of outboard gear you need for a quick session. For gigging bassists who have limited stage space, the low-gloss finish and ergonomic contour of the body help it sit comfortably whether you're playing standing up or seated on a stool. On the flip side, if you're a beginner who's still learning the basics of bass technique, the 6-string layout adds a learning curve that might be more than you need right now. The extra strings are great for advanced melodic work, but they also mean wider neck dimensions, which can feel cramped for smaller hands. Also, players who are hunting for a vintage-type, passive pickup bass may find the active EQ a bit too forward-facing. The tonal shaping is powerful but can also mask the natural character of the